So, Q&A time. What advice would you give to those who want to start voice acting? The first thing you should focus on is to start embracing your voice and build a relationship with it. Take care of it like singers do, And depending on your voice register, do not force certain ranges your voice cannot reach or pull off, otherwise you'll damage your vocals. Unless you know how to take care of your voice and practice enough. Since we're online nowadays, that's the cheapest and free advice with no pay needed. When it comes to finding your voice, get yourself used to getting comfortable with your own voice, and that will help you find your spot on voice registers, whether you'll be a high, middle, or low note. Remember not to always compare yourself to others, because this is just like art. Every artist is different from one another, and that means so is their styles. If you could talk to your past self, whether you were starting to voice act, what would you say? I wouldn't say anything. I would just stand there and watch me scream with all of my passion. I would scream with them as well. How did you start voice acting? Are there good benefits from it? I started VA by mostly just trying to imitate characters in my mom's bathroom. Yeah, I started screaming and yelling whenever my parents are not home, but they are not used to it. In my experience, the good benefits of voice acting are I can vent out my bottled up feelings by not necessarily screaming but voice acting itself. What inspired you to try voice acting? There are lots of things that inspired me to try voice acting. One of them is Kamiya Hiroshi. I admire him so much for voicing Levi, and Daisuke Ono for voicing Erwin of Attack on Titan. What voice acting roles have you done in the past? No major roles yet, but I at least got involved in voicing as a teacher at a little earthquake drill game and a cameraman for a zombie apocalypse news report. I enjoyed getting involved in both projects as long as it's voice acting, although it's just an extra role. How long have you been learning Japanese? 俺は3年前から日本語を勉強しています。If you were to choose between Filipino or Japanese dub, which would it be and why? That's a good question. Mainly, I choose to pursue Japanese seiyuu because of how cool Japan recognizes voice acting as a talent and art a lot. I had a thought of feeling slightly bad leaving my country behind if I were to have the opportunity, so I thought to myself that if I could voice in Japanese, how about I try to adapt that level of acting to Filipino dubbing? And so I proceed to make more and more Filipino dub animes just to hopefully get recognized locally for my talent, and I have my own intention of bringing back and reviving local dubbing here. I eventually got one of my videos popular and I was told I was popping off at TikTok, and so I thought to myself that maybe my work is really that good. Speaking of dubbing and stuff in here, I'm not saying that it's a dead industry or anything. It's I just want to bring it to light and to the point that people enjoy it already. I hope the locals would not support not only my talent but also local artists and their original works. And speaking of local works, I'm gonna promote this one community I discovered. I'd like to mention you about Webkom. It's a community of local Filipino artists that make original manga or comics with original characters designed. You can check them out if you want to. I'm gonna paste the link in the description below if you want to check out their artworks. The etymology of Mistamia? How'd you come up with the name? Back in 7th or 8th grade, I was a football fan. I watched lots of news and updates of world football or soccer a lot before. My idol was Lionel Messi. He's an Argentine football player. He was like my all might, but as of now I no longer play football much and eventually lost interest in it. I then started getting interested in becoming a pro League of Legends player. Yikes. After I started getting the hang of playing League a lot with myself or with my friends, I then started to think and come up with my own original IGN, which I took Mess with me because Messi was my inspiration, and I couldn't think of anything else rather than the topic of Mesopotamia. a topic discussed in world history. And so I combined them both, making it Mistamia. Wow, so original. Which sounds really unique for me, and I have no regrets taking it, so I used it as my forever League IGN, and I won't change it ever. But what does it mean though? I thought to myself, so I gave it a meaning, which means to make history. Wow, sounds great. Why? This is because Leo Messi had created history in world football, and Mesopotamia is just a topic in world history. I decided to give that meaning because it's my own name, and I'm currently making my own history and time as my own icon and legend himself. Wow, just so you know, I'm not like trying to self-proclaim or anything. I'm just saying that just to make me feel better. I feel proud. What inspires you to VA? In general, whenever I get this feeling of probably giving up the hobby, I watch my Seiyu idols or go see my artist friends' artworks, and I just feel like I'm all the way back. Don't get me wrong. I do this to immediately remind myself to work harder on my own and catch up to them. I usually just think I'm getting left behind as being my own main character on my own story, where I just start to have this sudden adrenaline rush with the flavor of motivation, and then I start moving forward bit by bit, reaching up the top doing what I love. As I said, there are a lot of things that inspire me to keep doing VA, but I'll pick my friends for this time because I love you guys. Who were the toughest and easiest characters you ever made voice impressions of? That would be Inosuke, because I have to endure having my voice being raspy and avoid damaging it as well. That will also apply to Bakugo too, because both characters just yell all the time. And on the other hand, that would be Levi, Tsuki, and Kageyama. Well, the easiest characters I can voice. But if I were to pick one, that would be Levi. He's my favorite to voice and imitate all the time until now.
これは Levi ASMR だよ.
Right, this is a Q&A. How old did you start voice acting? And who inspired you to VA? First of all, I'm sorry if I keep answering the same questions over and over again, but I'm giving different answers for each of them, so I'm really sorry about that. I just started quite a year ago already, since I started yelling or screaming. Well, considering this year, it would be 2 years already. I started yelling at my mom's bathroom, as I mentioned before, but here I am now, thankfully more confident, and my family has gotten used to hearing me scream or yell, so I have no problems of being insecure anymore. Thanks, Mommy, Dad, love you both. What expectations do you have of yourself? I expect myself to become humble and a confident guy towards people. What did you always wanted to try but never found the courage to do? I don't think I have anything in particular that I want to try. Also,
mas cute ako.
Congrats! What's the analysis behind your persona's design, and how did you think your design expresses who you are? Nothing much in particular. I came up with my design by inspiring it from leaves, cause I thought it looked pretty unique and I thought no one has done it yet, so I took the chance. I picked nature as the theme, for I like being natural towards people in life. I also wear a yukata, just to express that I like Japan's culture and the way they dress occasionally. It's wonderful, and anybody can look good on it if they try wearing it. Favorite animes? As of now, I've just finished watching Promised Neverland recently, but my all-time favorites so far are My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and JoJo. What's the story behind the leaf hair? My hair is not exactly hair, but how it looks like. I mean, who knows? It could be actually leaves. I hope that makes sense. Favorite light novels? I don't really read light novels because I'm not much of a manga reader, but lately I've been reading Attack on Titan manga, and there's so many pages each chapter. 40 pages per chapter if I remember correctly, and it takes patience, but it's enjoyable to read. And now let's move to Twitter questions. Woo! I'm curious though, if you don't mind, how do you study VA? I also want to learn. There's no specific college degrees are needed or anything required to be able to VA. Anybody can voice act. It all depends too on which character are you going to voice. Pay attention to the character's details, look at them in the face, and what kind of atmosphere does that character give you. go have fun, let your feelings witness. So far that's my only Twitter question, so let's move on to YouTube questions. Woo! What do you use to record your audio? I use my Miniso headphone mic to record what you're hearing right now, and I just edit it afterwards. I also have a BM800 condenser microphone. It's great for beginners, so I would suggest getting this mic or whatever you want. I chose the headphone mic because it sounds good, that it makes it easier for me to sound professional when I edit my recordings. Did you take voice lessons? If you're referring to singing, yes. I've had experience on voice lessons when I had stage plays back in my high school years, where I had to act as a main role. And if you're referring to voice acting lessons, I haven't. It would be great though, if you did have voice lessons before or during the time you started VA, for it to enhance your ability and for you to see through more. You'll get what I mean. When did you realize that you wanted to become a VA? Did you watch a video involving VAs and say, oh, I think I might try this one? It was back in 2019 when I started getting more attached to anime in my high school year, which made me become a weeb. I've watched a bunch of anime that got me wondering, how do Japanese people voice characters this crazy? And I used to wonder once if they talk like that in Japan. What a weeb was it. I've watched a lot of seiyus voice acting their iconic anime roles live in front of hundreds or thousands of people. As I said, I admire Kamiya Hiroshi for his role of being Levi Ackerman, and then I was inspired by him to try out imitating anime characters, and I managed to develop this skill. I gotta say, it did take a while and lots of practice. Another factor was when I watched Makoto Shinkai's Tenkinoko, or Weathering with You, in cinemas at the first day of its screening. I watched it with a group of friends from another school, and surprisingly, there were only a few people, including us, watching that day, and what's important is we managed to enjoy the movie ourselves and with other people watching. For me, in my perspective, I wasn't just watching the movie, but I absorbed and I just pretended and imagined myself as Hodaka from the movie, feeling the pressure he was put into, the reckless decisions that he has made that create such things that have been, love, many more. I've felt it all from a big screen showcasing a masterpiece created by a legend. Then that movie opened doors to my ultimate interest of becoming a seiyuu in Japan. I am still putting this in thought if I would still want to pursue that in case if I find better opportunities. Amazing things take time. Wow. I gotta say that I'm amazed if you made it this far in my video, because this is my thanks to all of you for watching this and being patient enough to wait, because lots of things have been happening and going on. I had to hold this for a while, but here I am, happy and thankful for my viewers who have been supporting me since I was just a small, screaming dude going around. But I've been growing, and I'm happy about it. This video is also my thank you for helping me reach 550 subs. 1,100 plus likes and 1,400 follows on my Facebook page. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video of my trivia, please do leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more content and coming soon. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all.